Oh, you good sir. I need you to. I want to see all your reactions.
Yes. I'm excited to read this.
I'm telling you, man. Tomorrow I'm working on 11 through 15. Tell you, dude. 11 through 15 as far as I already brought Tyler into it. Dwayne and Malcolm are going to be in it.
Okay, so today we're reading a story that Albert and I came up with many years ago. We got it, a couple chapters here written out with the help of a chat GPT to bring you kind of a little taste of what's to come with the full story. So we'll start off with chapter 1, Shadows over Giants. 15 years old, first day of high school. Jalen's world ain't new, but the pressure sure is. Jalen stood at the cracked bus stop sign, hoodie up, hands deep in his pockets, the morning chill biting through the cheap fabric. Another day, another 4 years of this shit. The school loomed in the distance like a prison with banners. Freshman year at Franklin High. New building, new start, same demons. Antonio pulled up beside him. Cousin, golden boy, walking goddamn statue. White tea crisps, waves spinning, smile cutting like a knife through the fog. You ready? He said, clapping Jalen on the back. Jalen nodded, but didn't answer. He didn't have to. He was already invisible. Antonio didn't ride the bus, nah. Girls were already blowing up his phone, asking him what class he had first, offering rides. Antonio walked in like he owned the school. And hell, maybe he did. Even the teachers looked his way like they were trying to remember if they were supposed to give him an award today. Jalen followed. Same height, same build, same blood, but different stories. Antonio's mom packed him lunch, gave him Bible verses in the morning, said she loved him. Jalen's mom? He didn't know if she was even home last night. Her door had been locked, smelled like cracked smoke again. His stepdad, probably already passed out, empty bottle of Hennessy on the floor. At school, it was more of the same. Yo, Antonio! Damn, you see that dude's arms? He plays varsity already? Girls, coaches, teachers, even janitors, everybody. All eyes on him. Jalen sat in homeroom and stared out the window. Nobody sat next to him. Didn't matter. He liked it that way. Safer. Then came lunch. That's when Albert and Darren rolled through. Like they'd kicked in the doors of a sitcom and walked onto the wrong set. Loud, dumb, funny as hell. Albert had fruit snacks stuffed in his hoodie. He was handing him out like it was Halloween. Darren was already arguing with the lunch lady about the price. Sorry. Darren was already arguing with the lunch lady about the price of chicken tenders. They slid into the table across from Jalen like they owned the place. And for the first time that day, he almost smiled. Yo, Jay, Albert said, mouth full. You look like you need a damn nap, bro. Darren laughed. He always looks like that. It was dumb, it was harmless, and for the first time in a long time, it felt like somebody saw him. Good, it's good. That's when Donzo showed up. Nobody really knew where he came from. He just transferred in that morning. Sat down next to them like he belonged. Quiet. Weird. Eyes like he was watching a movie no one else could see. Y'all ever think about how time don't actually move forward, Donzo said out of nowhere. They all stared. What? Think about it, Donzo said, cracking open a chocolate milk. It's always now. Past just a memory, future's just imagination. There's only now, forever. Albert blinked. So we got a philosopher on our squad now. Better than a crackhead, Darren said, and then realized what he said. Jalen didn't flinch. Just looked at his tray, picked at the cold fries. See, now chapter 1 was good. A good setup there.
And there's I think there's 4 different blocks for it too, which is good.
Yeah. All right, so chapter 2, Becoming. Scene 1, sophomore year, fighting shadows. Jalen gets in his first real fight at school. It's not even his beef. It's someone clowning his mom, and he snaps. He puts the kid on the floor and nearly gets expelled. Antonio pulls strings with the principal, saving him from getting booted. Jalen's internal voice. They only notice me when I bleed or make someone else bleed. Never for who I am. Albert and Darren, the duo rises. Comedy montage. These two go viral for some dumb stunt in gym class. Become instant school legends. But underneath all the laughs, you can see them never let each other fall. One fails a test, they study together. One gets dumped, the other trashes the ex in freestyle rap. Loyalty masked in jokes. Darren, I fight God with a spoon if he talks sideways about Albert. Albert, make it 2 spoons. I'm bringing the peanut butter.
Yeah, we can definitely edit that part.
Yeah, is that AI's joke?
That's the AI's. I had to tell them to fucking man it up.
I know, like go.
God.
All right. Scene 3, junior year. Because this is all like a montage of going through high school.
Just getting through high school, yeah.
Yeah, just like snippets of what you would see in the montage. Antonio wins MVP, class president, gets offers from top colleges. Everyone praises him, but you see him break down in private. The pressure to be perfect is killing him. He's tired of saving everyone, while no one ever asks if he's okay. Antonio says to himself, what's the point of saving the world if I lose myself in the process?
Yeah, it's good. It's just that little leadership guilt, you know?
Yeah, you definitely need that. So he has some character there. Scene 4, Donzo, the ripple. Quick, cryptic moment. Donzo's seen meditating in an abandoned church. Candles float around him in midair. He whispers something in an unknown language. In reality, bends for a second. He closes his eyes. Not yet, he says. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, not yet.
No explanation, just mystery. The viewer/reader gets chilled. Scene 5, senior year.
Yeah.
Fractures. Tensions rise. Jalen starts pulling away. He's training, pushing himself past human limits. Fights on the streets, sneaking into underground tournaments. He's strong now. Angry, quiet, starting to question if Antonio is really a leader or just someone lucky enough to have a good life. Antonio tries to pull him back and fails. Albert and Darren try to lighten things up. It works temporarily, but a final moment ends the chapter. Jalen staring into a cracked mirror, whispering, if they won't let me be the hero, I'll become the storm. What a great way to... What a great way.
I'm thinking we can. I'm thinking either between this one or the next one.
Is when
we can add the Jalen part.
And that's the end of chapter 2. The Spark revised. Scene, graduation night, Wonder Park. Summer heat, streetlights buzzing, the smell of barbecues drifting through the air. The 5 of them meet up at Wonder Park. Not just a park, but an old elementary school turned community spot during the summer. Open playground, broken swings, basketball courts with one working hoop, their second home for years. Laughter echoed under the dim orange lights as the crew sat on the benches near the jungle gym. Albert and Darren were passing chips back and forth, arguing over which one of them would have been prom king if Antonio didn't exist. Darren, bro, I had the suit, I had the walk. Albert, you look like a Walmart usher. Jalen leaned against the fence. eyes half closed, calm but distant. Antonio sat on the top of a picnic table, scanning the stars, always thinking big picture. Beautiful. And Donzo was there too, quiet as usual, sitting on the monkey bars, just watching, like he was waiting for something. Donzo, softly. Tonight feels different. Before anyone could ask what he meant, the sky cracked. A deafening roar ripped through the night. A burning object shot across the sky, trailing white fire like a god's arrow. That's good. The meteor slammed into the center of Wonder Park Elementary. Right behind them, the ground shook. Every car alarm in a mile radius went off. The 5 of them froze. Antonio. That just hit the school, Albert. Yo, what the hell was that? Darren. That wasn't a firework, man, Donzo calmly says. You 4 go. I'll stay here. Jalen, you serious? Donzo. Dead serious. Nobody argued. They didn't know why. They just went. Scene. Inside Wonder Park. Smoke. Ash. The air felt thick like it was vibrating. The impact had torn a hole through the blacktop near the old kickball field. At the center of the crater, a glowing meteor cracked open like an egg. Strange symbols pulsed along its jagged surface. Light poured out in a slow, unnatural waves. As the boys approached, something hit them. Flashes. Visions. Not memories, but something else. Fire, war, planets collapsing, stars being born, eyes watching from beyond the void. A voice whispered in each of their minds in a language they didn't know, but somehow understood. Chosen, awaken, remember who you were meant to be, and then blackness.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good,
Yes,
man.
it is. Scene the next morning. Each of them woke up in their own beds. No idea how they got there, but something was different. Their bodies, their senses, their minds, all changed. And deep down they knew this was the beginning.
Yes, sir. It's so good, man.
Yes.
Fuck.
Yes. And then it would, before we get here,
Yeah.
is when the whole molestation thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
in between the graduation and junior year.
Okay.
I think that'll be a great spot.
Okay. Okay, so chapter 3, Awakening. Finalized with powers. Scene. The next morning, Jalen sat upright in bed, sweating, breathing heavy. The world felt louder. Every breath, every sound outside, every vibration through the floorboards. It all crashed into his head at once. He stood up, walked to the mirror. Dark wisps of energy curled off his shoulders like smoke, reacting to his mood. His eyes flickered red, not glowing, but burning quietly. When he clenched his fist, black and purple static crackled in the air. This ain't normal. His heartbeat synced with the pressure in his chest, the rage, the pain, feeling of never being enough. The power fed on it. Scene, Antonio's room. Antonio stood in the sunlight pouring through his bedroom window. His skin was warm, but not from the heat. It was like he was charging. Veins lit gold beneath his skin. He took a deep breath and lifted off the floor, not even trying. Out of instinct, he extended a hand. A beam of radiant energy pulsed from his palm, cracking the closet mirror in two. He landed softly. No fear, just focus. Antonio. All right then, let's figure out what this is. Scene, Albert's house. Albert crashed through his closet door, not because he slipped, because he sneezed. Hard. The wall cracked behind him. Albert. Oh, hell no. He stood up, shook it off, and stared at his arms. They were massive, like they had bulked overnight. He punched the air out of panic and created a gust strong enough to knock over a lamp. He grinned. Yo, I'm a damn tank. He turned to the hallway. Darren, get in here, man. Scene, Darren's garage. I'm in a garage. Darren was already mid-experiment. He tapped a screwdriver to a broken drone and was watching it hover perfectly above the workbench. No remote, just gesture. Okay. His movements were lightning fast, too fast. He caught a wrench before it hit the floor without even realizing he moved. Okay, that's kind of fire. He waved a hand. The drone followed. Another flick. It disappeared from sight. Cloaked. He smiled to himself. Stealth mode unlocked. Right. This is really setting it up nice.
This is good.
Scene. Wonder Park again. They all showed up without a word. No calls, no texts. Just instinct. Like something bigger was pulling them back together. Antonio stood first, hands in his hoodie, trying not to burn a hole in the fence with his energy vision. Jalen leaned against the bench, eyes darker than usual, silent, heavy. His presence had weight now. Oh, yeah. Albert jogged in, cracking his knuckles like a wrestler hyped for a title match. Darren arrived on a bike, tossed it aside, and rolled a drone off his shoulder onto the bench. Antonio. We're just not going to talk about the glowing rock from hell. Albert says. Let's start with this. I punched a hole in my closet. Darren says. I cloaked a drone and built a tracking system for my mom's blender. Jalen, quiet. I saw a version of myself last night in the mirror. I didn't recognize him. They pause. Albert. Creepy. Antonio says, we've all changed. Scene. Donzo returns. Donzo strolled up like he always did. Calm, hoodie up, chill expression. Same old Donzo. But something was different. Not just to the reader, to Jalen, who could feel the pressure around him, like the shadows moved a beat too slow around Donzo's feet. Donzo, you all felt it, right? No one said anything, but they all nodded. Good. That means it started. Darren asks, what started? The reason we exist.
So good.
He pulled out a tablet, running some basic diagnostics, live feeds from across the city. Albert. What are you, tech support now? Donzo grinning. Somebody's got to be the brains. Y'all can break stuff. I'll make sure you know what to break. Here you go. He tapped the screen. Satellite feed showed a crater still glowing faintly. Donzo. The meteor did something. You're not normal anymore. You're becoming... Jalen narrowing his eyes. Who the hell are you, Don?
Who are you?
Who are you really? Donzo smiled. Calm, knowing, distant. That's a story for another time. Above them, a single black cloud spun unnaturally, just once. Jalen knows. Chapter 4. Training days.
Gonna get good.
King Kong ain't got shit on me. All right. Summer 2009. Wonder Park becomes more than a hangout. It became ground zero. Beautiful.
Right?
That was beautiful. Montage begins. Becoming. Antonio soared first. At first it was jumps, then gliding, then full flight. By week 3, he was doing laps over the park like a golden eagle, moving so fast he cracked the sound barrier when he lost focus. Each time he landed, the grass beneath his feet charged slightly from the solar energy rippling off his body. God
So
damn.
good.
Albert watching. Man really think he's Superman. Jalen quietly. He's not wrong. Jalen trained alone, late at night in the shadows. He discovered the dark aura wasn't just armor. It was alive. He shaped it into blades, shields, chains, even a pair of giant wings once they fizzled out from instability. But it always hurt to use, like his soul was burning every time he summoned it. It's like fighting with trauma itself. And it will make more sense once you actually...
Once you start bringing in all the other trauma shit.
Yeah, yes. Every time Antonio soared, Jalen's silence grew colder.
Yeah.
Ooh. Albert trained by hitting things, benches, light poles, an abandoned car they swore was already wrecked. Every time he got mad, he bulked up. Veins popped, eyes glowed, muscles doubled. He could tear down a tree with one punch, but something was wrong. When he stayed that way too long, he started forgetting who he was, speaking in broken sentences. Fist clenched for too long, pupils nearly gone. Darren says to him, "Yo, bro, you were foaming, like actually." Albert sweating. "Next time I lose it, knock me out." Darren wasn't flashy, but he was fast. Not just physically, mentally too. He built a working HUD out of a busted VR headset, programmed heat scans, designed dart gloves. By the end of July, he could hit a can from a rooftop while moving at 100 miles per hour. He left smoke trails when he sprinted full speed, nearly invisible except for the blur of green cakes. Darren: "I'm the rogue in a party full of tanks. I'm cool with that." Donzo stayed in the background. He monitored, took notes, analyzed. But every so often, someone would see him standing still, and the wind would stop, or shadows would bend away from him like they were scared. No one said anything. Mid-chapter break. Spark grows. One day, Antonio flew without effort, and the boys cheered. Jalen did not. Later, Jalen stared at his reflection in the lake. Jalen: "Why does he always get it first?" The aura answered. Tendrils reached up his arms. New intel: the other meteors. August 10th. Donzo gathered the boys at the old school bleachers. Donzo says, "The meteor. That meteor? Not the first." He brought up a world map on his tablet, blinking dots scattered across history and geography. Donzo says, "Meteors just like it have crashed on Earth going back 1,000,000 years. Different times, different places, always near powerful myths. One in the Himalayas, Shangri-La. One near
It's a Aegis.
yeah. One near Mount Olympus. One in the deep Atlantic Trench, Atlantis. One underground beneath the crust, center of the world. Others still unconfirmed." Antonio says, "You're saying myths are real?" Donzo: "Or they were built to hide the truth." Ooh,
Right.
ooh, what a powerful line. Antonio says, "You're saying myths are real, or they are built to hide the truth." That's good. Updated Atlantis scene. Final moments of chapter 4. They wandered the glowing halls of Atlantis, guided by crystalline lights and the hum of ancient machines. But Jalen drifted, drawn by something deeper, a hidden passage, a sealed door. It opened for him. Inside, the air buzzed. Scrolls floated in a containment field of glowing blue. He stepped forward. One scroll pulsed in dark purple, the same color as his. He touched it. The room reacted. The walls lit up with ancient glyphs. His eyes rolled back as whispers flooded his mind. "You are not ready." Atlantean guards stormed in. The chamber shook. Atlantean king, furious. "That scroll is forbidden. You tampered with the knowledge of the old star." Weapons drawn, Jalen stumbled back, eyes still glowing. Albert, Darren, and Antonio burst into the room. Albert says, "What the hell is happening?" Darren says, "He triggered some kind of security system." The guards surrounded Jalen, ready to strike. Antonio stepped in front of him, hands raised, glowing with golden light. "Antonio, please, he's young, he didn't know. If someone must answer for this, let it be me." The king paused. Tension held for several heartbeats before the king finally lowered his hand. And the king says, "You walk a thin line, son of light. Your mercy buys you this one moment, but take him and leave the city. If he ever returns, he will not leave alive." The boys pulled Jalen away, shaken. But Jalen didn't look grateful. He looked hollow, cracked. As they left, he stared at Antonio's back, the golden glow of a leader who always stood ahead of him. He saved me again, in front of everyone. I didn't ask for that. The spark of resentment that was once just a flicker now burned beneath his skin like a second heartbeat. End of chapter 4. Training Days, final cut. Good, it's good.
It's good, right?
It's good.
Yeah, we're foreshadowing Atlantis, dude, because we already know what happens at the end.
Yes, yes. So why don't you fill them in with stuff that's missing from those first 4 chapters?
There's a few things that are missing. Jalen's trauma is the biggest one. I think we can put it through the junior year and before graduation. But Jalen, one day Jalen goes home. I mean, at Antonio's crib, Antonio and Jalen are playing Tekken, and obviously Antonio's kicking ass.
Yeah, just wrecking him.
And he beats Jalen again. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go make a fucking sandwich." Which he goes downstairs, and Jalen starts throwing shit, throws the controller.
Yeah.
And then his stepdad stumbles out, beer, fucking Hennessy bottles on the ground, beer 211s everywhere. He's like, "Hey, let me get that." He's like, "Hey, what I tell you kids about making all that noise?" And Jalen's over there like, "Oh, I didn't do anything," talking under his breath. "What was that, boy?"
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he just goes right into the room, and Antonio's downstairs. It cuts away to Antonio cutting up a mean old sandwich. And he's talking to some honey on the phone. And after he finishes, all you hear in this background noise, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
Antonio walks up with the sandwich. "Oh, baby, don't worry. I'm always going to be here for you." And as he walks in, he sees Jalen on the bed, back facing towards the door.
Right.
And all you hear is Jalen crying. And Antonio's like, "Damn, I didn't mean to beat you that hard. Fucking crybaby." He's like, "Oh, what was that, honey? Oh, I'm still here." Hops on the stick, starts playing. And it cuts right to Jalen's face as he's fucking crying. As he just got molested. And ChatGPT was, they have rules.
Yeah.
You couldn't put that.
Right. Okay.
What's another part that we're missing in it?
So I was wondering over here, they go check out all the craters, right? Is that what that is? Where they find Atlantis?
Yeah, Donzo supposedly shows them a map of the world, and that all around the world there's these craters that happen, just like
Because right here he's saying, there's craters that hit all these different places, and then it just cuts to them at Atlantis, right? They wandered the glowing halls of Atlantis.
Yeah, I think between here, because I think this is the revised one. There's supposed to be like a little montage of them going to each place.
Okay.
And then the last place they go to is Atlantis,
where that happens. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's it. Yeah, because we're supposed to go on a little montage, just going through the world, learning more about our powers and shit.
Right.
Because we get more than what we already shown. We're just the stepping stones of what we have.
So let's continue then.
Yep.
Chapter 5. And this is years later.
Yeah.
This is in 2014 when all that stuff happened in 2019.
Yeah, 2009, yeah.
And then montaged up until this point.
I think it might be different because we started high school in 2000.
Yeah.
4 years, that's 2013. So we would all be 18 2 years after. It's supposed to be 2015 or 2016, I think.
Okay, so we'll say 2016.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2016, they're 20 years old now. 5 years since Wonder Park fell from the sky. The world had changed. More meteors, more gifted. But no one was more powerful than the first 4. They weren't just survivors anymore. They were Earth's protectors. The 4 and the ghost in the background, which is referring to Donzo. Yes. Antonio now moved like a solar storm with a heartbeat. Golden aura crackling, eyes white hot, a living demigod in the sky. Rescues, battles, peace talks. He was the symbol the world turned to when they needed hope. The gold standard. And right now we're just kind of giving you a kind of what their character is, since the gap between when they first got their powers to now,
Yeah, because
and how they kind of filled their shoes.
So at this point, they kind of mastered it.
Yes.
It's more controllable of their powers.
Yeah, and now they kind of just set into their roles, and so that's Antonio's role.
And if you look at the image, man, the fucking image is exactly what it is, dude.
All right.
So good, man.
Now I'm excited to read because now this next part is Jalen, and he's the best character.
The best character, man.
All right, have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Jalen stood beside him, but never truly with him. His dark aura had matured into something terrifyingly elegant. Glowing purple-black armor, massive energy wings, weapon constructs sharper than blades of light. He smiled in public. He fought for Earth, but something behind his eyes was missing. He didn't want to protect the world anymore. He wanted to surpass it.
Woo! Yeah, that's
Right.
so good.
So now here's Albert. Sorry, excuse me. Albert had become the immovable force, built like a monster, but grounded like a rock. He could shrug off missiles, break mountains, but now he wore special regulator tech from Donzo, designed to shock him back into humanity
Yeah, it's supposed
when
to
he
be
started to lose control.
Yeah, it's supposed to be from you because you're the tech guy.
Yeah. Last time I hulked out, I woke up in Chile. We were in Japan, bro. Still the heart of the team, still loyal to the end. Darren was everywhere at once, speed over 400 miles per hour, new stealth gear, dart systems that could paralyze a titan. He had contacts in every corner of the globe and hacked nearly every defense system known to man or alien. He was the covert side of justice, the blade in the shadows. Darren, you got Antonio for the cameras, you got me for the real shit.
Yeah, when I made you, I told them like mix Flash and Snake. That's why I said mix Flash and Snake together. Gave us.
Cool with that. Donzo. Still just the man in the chair, but his chair now sat beneath the hidden fortress. A room of screens, codes, blueprints, interdimensional readings, and a wall covered in meteor impact data. What the others didn't know, he had already seen what was coming. Now, we're going to break down the world now. This is what the world is like since the events leading up to this point. There were dozens of powered people now, hundreds, unofficially. Some joined governments, others went rogue, but the public called the original four the Primal Guard. Trained in secret, operated globally, loved by some, feared by many. Even with new heroes rising, they were the legends. Intel drop, a new pattern. Don's. Does it go in the Tyler thing, or is that in the
Tyler's later. He's later.
Okay.
He's just a regular side character in
Right.
the second book.
Intel drop, a new pattern. Donzo watched from his fortress, eyes narrowing. More meteors, but not random anymore. They were forming a path, like something or someone was sending them on purpose. And worse, one of the older meteor crash sites, Atlantis, had just gone dark completely. Jalen's shadow. That night, as the team met in their floating base above the Pacific, Jalen stood at the edge of the platform, cape flapping in the wind. Aura dim. He looked down at the earth, then Antonio, laughing with the others. Jalen quietly says, "They still follow you." He clenched his fists. One day, they won't. End of chapter 5, Gods Among Us. Good.
We'll make minor tweaks here and there, but
Yes.
this is definitely the starting of all of them.
Yes. It's still like a rough kind of like outline. So, chapter 6, Cracks in the Sky. Many years later, About like 4 or 5 years later, it's 2020. Location is New York City. The skyline burned with smoke and lights as chaos erupted in downtown Manhattan. Skyscrapers flickered with digital static, sirens howled, and the ground quaked beneath the march of metal giants.
I think you know where. I think you know who this
Yes,
is.
yes. They came in waves, robotrons, machines of war, built with surgical precision, designed to overwhelm hundreds, maybe thousands. And at the center of it all, Dr. Vandergrift, in his towering war mech, cackling from above. The same man who once taught 10th grade science at their high school, now the mad technician of New York's worst night. What happened to you, Mr. V? Albert smashing a robot in half. Remember when he used to give us candy after finals? Darren zipping past with a smirk. Yeah, I didn't think he'd snap harder than the vending machines he used to fix. Ooh. Ooh, that might need a little rewriting.
Yeah.
Okay. Antonio hovering above, commanding. Albert, Darren, secure civilians and contain the damage. These things spread like cockroaches. Albert says. On it. Darren. Race you to the next block. In a flash, Albert thundered through streets, ripping Robotrons apart like wet paper, shielding families with his massive frame. Darren blurred through wreckage, pulling trapped civilians to safety, disabling drones midair with pinpoint accuracy. Above the battlefield, Antonio darted through the sky, golden aura blazing, exchanging blasts with Vandergrift's mechs, holding him back from unleashing another wave. Antonio to Jalen through comms. Jalen, swing wide left. I need backup. Jalen, growling. Stop bossing me around. Antonio turned. Too late. Vandergrift's mech cannon fired, slamming Antonio through 2 buildings in a crash of steel and fire. Vandergrift. Even your golden boy bleeds. Jalen's eyes burned violet. Without a word, he charged his aura, screaming like a banshee as he launched into Vandergrift. Before he could land the hit, the Robotrons swarmed him, latching on like parasites, dragging him down. Jalen. Get off me! He fought hard, but the numbers overwhelmed. He fell, knee to pavement, fists clenched, breath ragged. Everywhere, Albert and Darren regrouped, flanking the swarm. They cleared civilians, rerouted gas lines, disabled high-risk structures, the real work. But Vandergrift wasn't done. Vandergrift and them. Still playing the part of the sidekicks, huh? Just like in high school. Delinquents, all of you. With one stomp from his mech, he sent both of them crashing into a building. Jalen crushed. Back on the ground, Jalen was pinned. Sparks rained from him, his body bruised, his power drained. Vandergrift walked toward him, towering and smug. And he says, You were always different. Never fit in with the others. Now you're just an ant beneath my boot. The mech's leg rose, ready to crush, and then a blast of pure white light. Vandergrift was launched across the battlefield, his mech blown apart in a flash that cracked the sky. Antonio floated above, golden, radiant, alive. In seconds, he dismantled the remaining Robotrons, ripping through them like divine retribution. The city went quiet. He descended beside Jalen, offering a hand. Come on, let's finish this. Jalen slapped his hand away. I don't need your help. I had it under control. He stood, trembling, surrounded by deactivated machines and a broken skyline. His eyes locked on Vandergrift's ruined mech, shattered. Albert and Darren dragged Vandergrift from the wreckage, cuffing him in reinforced steel. The world watches. Reporters, drones, and civilians poured into the streets cheering. They saved us. That's the Primal Guard. Antonio, Albert, Darren. No one said Jalen's name. No one looked his way.
Even you.
He stood off to the side, shadowed by rubble and silence, his fists clenched. A broken Robotron sparked nearby, barely alive. It looked up at Jalen. Robotron is glitching. You were always different from the others. Crunch. Jalen smashed its head. His dark aura flared violently, and without a word, he launched into the sky, disappearing into the clouds. The ending blow. As the cheers swelled, a reporter shoved a mic into Antonio's face. Antonio, how do you manage to save the city? Antonio glanced around at Albert and Darren, then toward the sky where Jalen should have been. Antonio softly. We did it. As a team. But there was no Jalen to nod in agreement. Only smoke and silence.
Ugh, so good.
Beautiful. Chapter 7. The Ring Splits. Location. New Wonder Park. A home base of the Earth Protectors. Time. 1 day after the Vandergrift battle. The screen above the training room flickered with static before resolving into the nightly news. Smoke, fire, interviews, praise. Once again, the Primal Guards have saved New York City from catastrophe. The city's hero, Antonio, led the charge, backed by teammates Albert, Darren, and Jalen didn't even let them finish. In the ring, sweat dripping, fists wrapped, he pummeled the holographic monster with everything he had. The synthetic beast swung back lazily, clearly outmatched, but Jalen didn't care. Each punch landed harder than the last. Each grunt came with more venom. Each mention of Antonio's name on the broadcast twisted his gut. Across the room, Albert and Darren were mid-spar, laughing as they worked each other through new training drills. Albert, dodging a jab. You see that flip I did yesterday? Tell me I didn't look like a Polynesian ninja. Darren grinning. More like a flying refrigerator with bad knees. They both laughed. Then came Donzo, gliding in on a hoverboard like a tech genius Silver Surfer. That's a good description. Donzo cheerfully. Solid work yesterday, gentlemen. Dr. Vandergrift's defeat led to a 130% spike in merchandise sales. Also great news. We opened up more reconstruction jobs. Victims will be compensated in full. The public loves you. Albert says, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Darren, one-liner worthy of a cereal box. Jalen didn't respond. He punched harder. Donzo, Jalen, did you say something? Jalen muttering, why does it matter? Just then a streak of gold energy burst through the open sunroof. Antonio descended, his cape fluttering behind him. Antonio landing hard. If you got something to say, say it in the ring. Jalen said coldly. Delightful. That's something you would totally say.
That's something you say, man.
Training mode engaged. The ring expanded. Metal walls retracting. Floors shifting. Safety protocols initiated. Power dampeners hummed to life. Antonio pointing to the sign. You know the house rules. Above the ring in bold red letters read, no powers in the training room. Albert grabbed the bell from the wall. Let the ass whooping begin. Darren laughed. Place your bets. Place your bets. Ding, ding. Okay. Jalen came in fast. Faster than usual. His fists flew with fury, relentless and wild. Antonio parried, ducked, weaving like a man who'd done this 100 times before. Antonio calm. So we gonna talk about yesterday? No, nothing to talk about. Antonio leapt back, analyzing. Jalen, you almost let Vandergrift kill you. You froze up. It's like you wanted to die. I didn't freeze, he says during a spinning kick. I was tricking him. Antonio blocked, but he wasn't buying it. A flash of memory. Jalen broken on the ground, about to be crushed, begging, helpless. Antonio firmly says, you don't need to be afraid to ask for help. We're family. That did it. Something in that word family snapped the last thread of restraint. Jalen's eyes glowed. His fists ignited in purple Dark purple aura. Albert jumping up. Yo, no powers! Darren. He's breaking the rules. But it was too late. I don't need this. I don't need any of you. He exploded upward through the sunroof. A trail of purple fire carving into the clouds. Antonio moved to follow, but Donzo gently held his chest back. Let him go. He needs to face this alone. Antonio clenched his jaw, then nodded. Yeah, maybe he does. The team parted ways, fractured now. One brother gone, one team shaken, one storm on the horizon.
It skipped the part where it hit Antonio, and there's a part in there where it hits Jalen hits Antonio, sends Antonio flying, and then he just gives him a dark look, and then Jalen takes on.
Okay. He hits Antonio when he charges up the powers. That's when Albert and Darren are like, "Hey, you're breaking the rules."
Man, what are you doing?
You're like, "Yo."
Yeah, but he does hit Antonio like straight to the face.
Okay.
So technically, Jalen won that fight.
Yeah, he did. He did. End of chapter 7. Now we're going to chapter 8, and it says revised here.
Yeah.
Changes were made.
I had to make a lot of changes with this one. I let the AI take over. I tuned it to work.
Okay, let me take a puff before I start the chapter.
Yeah.
So far, really good.
It's great, right?
It's good. It's setting it up. I can't wait for book 2 because that's the best part.
That's
the best part of the story is book 2.
That first chapter of Jalen killing a baby. Dude.
Oh my God! Yes.
No book is ever gonna open up like that. It's God tier.
It's really good. Okay, so chapter 8. When shadows speak. Scene 1, location, the Himalayan Pass, midnight. Jalen sits at the edge of a cliff, high above the clouds. Silence all around. Dark purple aura crackles off his skin like it's trying to escape him. His eyes are closed, but inside his head, the storm is screaming. He remembers Antonio's voice. You don't have to be afraid to ask for help. We're family. His fist clenches. Aura bursts from his back, shattering the rock beneath him. Jalen. I don't need him. I never did. The air shifts. Cold. Dense. A voice echoes, not in the air, but inside his mind. To need is weakness. To question is clarity. To break is freedom. Jalen jerks upright, looking around, but sees nothing. Who said that? In the mist, the shadow version of himself walks forward. Face familiar, eyes unfamiliar. But something's off. His words, they don't sound like Jalen. They sound measured, intentional, glitchy. Yes.
It's exactly who it's supposed to be.
Right. Shadow, Jalen says. A voice layered, mechanical, yet poetic. They raise you as a brother and cage you like a beast. You feel it, don't you? The falseness. Script. Jalen. I'm not controlled by anybody. And yet they choreograph your rage like a stage play. They call it family. They call it order. They are lying. Jalen's eyes flicker, not fear. Recognition. The way of speaking. Rhythmic, cryptic, hollow. He's heard it before. But where?
Yeah. Great.
Scene 2, location. Donzo's private chamber, Wonder Park. Donzo stands in the shadows of his chamber, watching screens blink red. Script hovers silently, its voice toned down. And Script is like the
AI.
The AI that they use.
Which is
the AI we use.
Literally.
Script saw. Subject, Jalen. Aura resonance increased by 347%. Dark fluctuation confirmed. Anomaly in behavior suggests psychological breach. Donzo didn't blink. Donzo. Growth often mimics corruption. Elevation often feels like falling. That's good. That's good. Sir? Donzo turns away from the console. Voice colder. More philosophical. Every variable has a direction. Jalen has found his. Let him walk it. Grip pauses. If it were human, it would frown. You're not going to stop him. Why stop a question when you planted the doubt yourself?
And, you know,
Man, that's good.
Donzo, man.
Fuck, that's good.
Y'all don't know what Donzo's capable of, man.
Damn.
He is such a villain, dude.
A single button glows on the console. Override loop. Pending reset. He hovers over it, but doesn't press it.
Or foreshadow.
Yeah. Scene 3. Shadow Realm. Jalen's mind. Shadow Jalen walks Jalen through the flashes, past moments, warped timelines, broken worlds. Some feel like dreams, others feel too real. The team dying in one version, the earth consumed in another. Jalen begging Antonio for help, only to be reset again and again. Shadow Jalen, Donzo voice. At this point, the audience doesn't know.
They should already know, yeah.
You have never failed. You've been edited. Every moment of strength overwritten. Every rebellion revised. You are not broken. You are inconsistent with the narrative. And it's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good. Jalen. And what am I? You are the unscripted. Jalen drops to one knee, breathing heavily. You keep talking like you know me, like you've always known me. The shadow smiles, but the smile isn't Jalen's, Donzo's. Shadow Jalen's final line. That speech pattern, you recognize it, don't you? It's familiar, because he's been speaking to you your whole life. Wonder Park HQ, morning. Albert and Darren return from patrol. The vibe is off. Albert. Mission handled. Piece of cake. Civilian safe. Got free food. Darren. Except for the part where a kaiju tried to step on me. Antonio flies in, grim, eyes scanning. Where's Jalen? Ripped says. Signal untraceable. He's outside normal parameters. Donzo suddenly appears, calm. Too calm. He has entered a state of question. Let him answer it alone. Darren watches him closely, unsettled. Darren to Albert, very lowly. Ever notice his tone changes when things go wrong? Man's always talk like a fortune cookie. I stopped asking. Final scene. Low orbit, above Earth. Jalen floats alone. Aura burning violently. Jalen. I thought I was waking up, but I've been sleepwalking through his story. Stars flicker. Silence around surrounds him. Jalen. That voice, that cadence. It was Donzo. Dark aura ignites. Brighter, sharper, fueled by rage and clarity. Jalen says, I'm done being written in someone else's ending. Suddenly, his comm link buzzes. Script overcomes neutral tone. Attention all members, report to HQ for immediate debrief. Classification code 3. Repeat, code 3. Jalen rips the communicator off his wrist. It spirals into space. Jalen whispers, no more. With a roar of dark energy, blast off, not back toward Earth, but away from it, towards something else. Fade to black. End of chapter.
Yeah, so this chapter, what was it, chapter 8?
Yeah.
Chapter 8, I let the AI to. I was like, hey, how do we pass this along? And he thought of putting Donzo as puppeting Jalen's mindset, as he's already getting corrupted by the group after that little tussle at the practice room. So Donzo starting to play puppet master. But this is just full-on foreshadowing for things at the end of the book and then at the end of the second and third book.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know exactly what's going on here.
Yeah.
But, like, the audience would have no idea. So they would have to just keep reading.
You're going to have to keep reading.
Chapter 9. Okay. When the mist rolls in, During the events of Chapter 8, the sun was settling over Wonder Park HQ, casting long orange shadows across the war room. The remaining team regrouped in silence. Jalen was gone, not just in body. Something had snapped inside of him. Jalen leaned against a console next to Albert, arms crossed. You think Jalen will be okay? What was that thing with Donzo? Albert, as he's taking a bite of pizza. Jalen will be alright. You know how the kid is. He'll cool off and come back. As for King Surf-a-Lot, I don't think he blinks or eats, like at all. Surf-a-Lot. Because he's got the
hoverboard, the longboard.
I don't think he blinks or eats, like at all. And says, yeah, that's what worries me. Before Albert could joke again, Antonio dropped through the skylight and landed quietly in the center of the room. No wasted motion, just focused leadership. Beautiful. Antonio, status update. He activated the central console. Holographic Earth spun slowly, red points lighting up the map. Antonio, the galactic doers reported unusual activity. Earthquakes under the Pacific, and now something's happened in Antarctica. Tremors, underwater rumbles. No meteor spikes, but it's off. We need to check it out soon. Donzo hovered into the room on his floating platform, hands behind his back. Good, you are all here. With the motion of his hand, surrounding screens came to life. World news footage, reports from across the globe. Donzo says, Bora Bora, Samoa, the Philippines, Brazil, missing persons at their beaches, isolated at first, then coordinated. He activated a live news feed from Florida. A reporter in Miami stood near a shoreline covered in fog. Sounds real eerie, you know? Sounding good. Reporter. Locals claim dark shapes emerged from the mist. People were dragged away screaming. Police remain baffled. Panic is spreading. Darren. Can we scan it? Thermal? Motion sensors? Donzo. Negative. They're cloaking masks' heat. Biosignatures. Even sonar. Your tech is useless against it. Albert took another bite of pizza. Well, I think we all needed a vacation anyways. That's good. Darren. Nah, you need a food vacation. Albert grinned mid-bite. Albert, jealousy's a disease. Antonio cut in. Focus. This isn't random. Earthquakes, disappearances, fog. Darren asked, you think it's connected? Antonio. I don't know. But in the meantime, he turned to the team. Darren, Albert, head to Miami. Investigate and secure the area. Meet with the locals and the Coast Guard. Try and figure out what is causing this. Albert raised his hand. No, Albert. No, you cannot take the Echo Blaster. Last time you made it snow in Dubai. The Echo Blaster changes the weather.
Yeah, Eco Blaster.
Oh yeah, Eco Blaster.
Yeah, the weather control gun.
Yeah, that's cool. Last time you made it snow in Dubai. You didn't even know what I was going to ask. Antonio, no. Copy that. Darren snickers towards Albert. Told you he'd say no. Antonio. Donzo, start tracing patterns in these incidences. Track any movement or energy shifts. I'll investigate Antarctica personally. This needs to be shut down fast before more lives are lost. As the team disappeared, Antonio stayed back. Script. Locate Jalen. Tell him to rendezvous with Darren and Albert. Script calmly. Attempted. Jalen's transporter was disabled an hour ago during debriefing. Last location, outer atmosphere. Current location, unknown. Antonio narrowed his eyes as he sighed. It's fine. I know where he's at. With a pulse of white light, he shot through the roof and disappeared into the sky. The war room fell silent. Donzo hovered alone now, staring blankly at the empty space. Antonio had just left. He didn't blink, didn't move, didn't speak, until finally, in a soft, chilling whisper, he muttered, as expected. But this time, the phrase didn't sound neutral. It carried weight, a darkness, like a man not watching events unfold, but remembering them.
There
Good.
we go.
That was good.
Uh,
Man, it's well written.
It is. It's so good, man. He really fucking writes his whole.
Yeah, it's well written. That's for sure. All right, chapter 10. Winds howled violently above the frozen continent of Antarctica. But Antonio barely heard it. He soared through the gray skies, arms at his sides, eyes ahead. Donzo's voice played steadily through his earpiece. Darren and Albert are en route to Miami. Locals are calling it a sea monster attack, but we're ruling it a fog-based anomaly until confirmation. 47 civilians were missing. Still no signs of Antonio turned it out. His mind slipped into autopilot, flying purely off muscle memory. He heard enough. Enough mission reports, enough alerts, enough reminders that the world expected him to solve everything. He drifted deeper into silence, letting his thoughts take over. It wasn't always like this. And it's a flashback to freshman year. A quiet field behind the school. The sky was ink black, stars scattered like diamonds. Antonio hovered a few inches above the ground, trying to stabilize his flight. Nearby, Jalen stood on the grass, frustrated, fists clenched. "Come on, man," Antonio called out. "Just let it lift you." "Easy for you to say," Jalen muttered. "You get everything first." Antonio floated back down. "I didn't ask for it to come easy. It's just, I don't know. People expect me to win." Jalen's eyes flared. "Yeah, well, people expect me to disappear." Antonio paused. His voice softened. "You know what it's like? When everyone expects you to never fall? Like if I mess up even once, I stop being golden?" Jalen looked up. "I don't want your shine. I just want to stop feeling like your shadow." Antonio nodded. "You always mattered, Jalen. Just not to the right people." Then almost hesitantly, Jalen began to rise, floating just off the ground. Both of them grinned. For that one moment, it wasn't about powers. It wasn't about status. It was just two boys, tired of the wait, learning to fly. "Sir," Script interrupted, "you've arrived." Antonio snapped back to reality. Below him, Antarctica stretched endlessly in every direction, blank, lifeless, quiet. Just like Donzo said it would be. As it should be, Donzo confirmed over comms. No energy spikes, no heat signatures, no... Wait, Script cut in. "Unidentified ruins detected approximately 400 meters below sea level. Coordinates uploading now." Antonio narrowed his eyes, descending rapidly until he found a jagged cliff face. Partially excavated, particularly buried. There was no crew, no equipment, just the markings of a dig site, and the eerie sense that someone had been here and left in a hurry. "Script," Antonio ordered. Landing. "Give me a full reading. I want to know who was here and how long ago and where they went." He deployed one of Darren's drones, a small, fast reconnaissance bot that zipped off into the ruins. It scanned quietly, scanning debris, tunnel patterns, and data points. "Beep, beep, beep. Contact," Criff said. "There's something under the ice. A wall. Carved hieroglyphs embedded beneath sublayer 5. Antonio floated down. Eyes focused on the massive sheet of ice blocking the buried structure. Zora began to glow, radiant, golden, and intensifying like a solar flare. The sun had always been his source, and now it burned from his skin like molten energy. Ice hissed and cracked, repeatedly evaporating. Steam coiled upward into the sky as the glyph-covered wall emerged. Script tried to scan it, unable to decipher. Language unknown, symbol structures inconsistent. Antonio stepped closer. "I've seen these before," he said quietly, eyes narrowing. But where? Before the pieces could click into place, Donzo's voice blared into the air. All members alert. We have another sighting of the fog, this time at Santa Monica Pier. Civilian panic rising. Threat level upgraded to code 3. Antonio's eyes widened. I'm en route. What's the update on Jalen? No response, Donzo said. Still off grid. Script added. Jalen's transporter has been disconnected for 3 hours. Would you like me to activate a search protocol? Antonio didn't answer right away. Instead, he clenched his jaw, locked up, then gave the order. Donzo, send Albert and Darren to Santa Monica. I'll find Jalen and meet up with you. I've got him. Understood, Donzo replied. He went silent. Script. Antonio said, already rising into the sky. Plot me a course for the only place he goes when he's this upset. Coordinates locked, Script responded. Home. Antonio took off. Fire trailing behind him. Golden but flickering. Not quite as bright as usual. That's the end of that. That's the end of what we got right now.
And so chapter 12 is going to be talking about what me and Darren are doing at this time. So me and him are at Miami.
Yeah.
And we're going to go investigate. And during this time, these surfers, they end up finding like this body in the ocean and they bring it on shore. And then me and Darren are investigating and we're like, yo, this tech, we've seen this before. And me and Darren are trying to put it together. What the fuck is this? Where is this from? We've seen it. And then right before we figure it out, Donzo calls, hey, and he repeats the same thing. We have a code 3, blah, blah, blah. We need you all meet back. And, Antonio's words were, this, meet you over here. And then me and him go.
Yeah.
And then the third part, chapter 13, it's going to be Jalen. Now, Jalen's, this is after he flies out of space. He does go home. He comes right back to Anchorage because I guess we move Wonder Park. But it's a floating fortress now.
Right.
So we move Wonder Park wherever the fuck we. But Jalen goes back to Anchorage. He goes back to visit home, but he gets distracted because he runs into Tyler.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Tyler's like, oh, dog, I see you on TV all the time. You know? Are you doing all right? You're looking like you're in pain. And Jalen's like, man, you always know how to read me. I wish we still hung out, man.
Yeah. They miss us.
And Tyler's like, I miss you. And Tyler's like, you know what? Cut all that noise.
Yeah.
Let's go kick it like the old days. So they go kick it. You know, they're all doing drugs and shit.
Yeah.
Jalen finds out Tyler has like these electric powers.
Yeah,
But they weren't given from a meteor. They were given from Vandergriff.
Vandergriff,
yeah.
Vandergriff is given electric powers.
And so throughout the whole day of them being engaged,
Yeah.
Tyler's like, come on, man, be real with me. How are you doing? And Jalen's like, oh, just, cast aside, number 2, nobody.
Yeah. Feeling like he's the second place and overlooked.
I don't even feel like a hero no more. And that's when Tyler chimes in. Hey, Jalen, maybe you're not really meant to be a hero. Maybe you're meant to be an outlaw or something like that. And Jalen's like, elaborate.
Elaborate.
And Tyler's like, hey, I'm doing a job with a couple of guys. You can come down and meet with us. And Jalen's hesitant at first.
You're right.
But it itches in his head. He's like, you know what? Oh, yeah. So it itches in Jalen's head. He's like, nah. But then we get the call. That's when Jalen gets the call from Donzo. This is code 3. Albert and Darren are heading to Miami or heading to whatever. And Antonio's en route to grab me. And then Jalen's like, you know what? I'll go. And then he goes with Tyler. And then chapter 14 should be us finding out, or it should be a continuation from Jalen stuff. So him and Jalen doing Jalen and Tyler, they meet up with Dwayne and Malcolm, and they're trying to get all this electrical stuff. And it's for Vandergriff, but Jalen don't know.
Right.
And they're basically just trying to convert Jalen to do all this shit.
Yeah, that's it.
Jalen commits a crime. Jalen likes it.
Yeah.
And he starts doing more, like, just petty stuff. It's just literally petty stuff.
Yeah. Him just, like, turning to the bad.
To the dark side.
To the dark side.
And then it cuts over to
the villain arc.
Yeah, it cuts back to us. we all meet in the Antonio couldn't find Jalen, so me and Darren are whatever that beach was across the fucking
We were at Miami. We went to Santa Monica.
Santa
Pier.
Monica. Yeah, we were in the beach of Santa Monica, and that's when the fog rolls in. Me and Darren start fighting, asking, calling for backup, and then it cuts right back to Jalen having fucking fun, holding hands with Tyler and
Yeah.
singing love songs.
Yeah,
about
they're robbing stores.
Yeah. robbing old ladies and
Yeah.
And Jalen just keeps turning off his transponder. And at the end of it, Jalen's trying to. Oh, they're like, "Oh, we just gotta break my buddy out of jail." Jalen doesn't know because he's never stuck. He never stuck around to get the bad guys arrested.
Right.
But he doesn't know. But he's in like the super stocked up prison for supervillains. And he's over there breaking down this wall that he got all the tools for. And then at the end, as he fucking punches the wall,
Yeah.
like trying to talk to Tyler, Tyler's still trying to get him to open up. I just don't want to talk about it. Dude. And then you hear it. Well. Ain't this a surprise? And then Jalen looks up, and it's Vandergrift.
Yeah.
And then Vandergrift's like, maybe you're not an ant beneath my boot. Maybe you're the bumpers at the orgy. Say some shit like that.
Yeah.
And then like the screen goes black,
Yeah.
and then all you hear is Antonio, Jalen, we need your assistant. We need your
Right.
cuts off. And then the next chapter, I haven't thought that far yet, but it's gonna be basically Vandergrift converting Jalen into
Yeah. It's a
Into
Vandervoort, dude.
into Vandervoort, dude.
And then book 2,
Yeah, oh my god.
which is the way better story.
Yeah, dude,
This book is to set up for book 2.
it's so good, dude. It's so fucking good. I asked my chat how much he likes it, dude. The own AI loves it.
Yeah, well, this story is to set up
Oh.
just so you can understand how good book 2 is.
It's gonna be so good, and nothing else after.
Yeah.
The world gets so much bigger, but book 2 will forever be everyone's. I mean, you got the baby killing.
Yeah.
You got Jalen raping Tyler's wife, his best friend's wife.
yeah.
Dude.
Yes.
Jalen kidnapping Antonio,
Yeah. Yes, it's so hype, dude.
and then Jalen and Antonio, the first and final true battle.
They fucking fight, dude.
And then
Powers on and everything.
Yeah, man, they're blowing up mountains and shit. And then at the end of it, dude, Jalen walks out first, and me and Darren are like, "Fuck, we gotta do this."
And like, yeah, Jalen at this point is got so much power.
Yeah, he's just fucking buff as fuck walking out the mountain. Right before me and Darren charge with whatever little power we have, Antonio walks out right behind them, and they both make up.
Yes, and Jalen's villain arc is over.
Yeah, and then his redemption arc, dude.
begins.
But book 2 is when Donzo resets the timeline for the first.
Yeah.
And to them, they're like, "Oh, this is cool. We can restart. It don't matter." But at the end of book 3, when Donzo restarts after everyone settles down,
Yeah.
that's when we're like, "No,
The
fuck
Donzo arc begins. The Donzo saga, which is also really good.
It's
And
so
then
good.
into the true climax of the
Yeah.
whole series.
All of us coming together.
And then the Baruki saga. The Baruki saga plays on a lot of the same themes as book 2.
Yeah, it's what
It's book 2 too.
on fucking Star Wars, and it's so good. It's a trilogy of Jalen getting his ass beat,
Yeah.
finding out that the power of Vander is a power that the only way to bestow it onto someone is by true love.
Yes, dude.
But
It was corrupted.
it was
love.
corrupted love because someone took the power of
The
Vander.
thing that happens in book 1, dude. The one that the AI didn't want to write. But that's a defining moment in Jalen's
And
character.
Jalen's stepdads are fucking.
And at the end of the book, doesn't he kill him? His
Yeah.
stepdad at the
And
very end of the book?
Because he leaves, he takes the head of Alan. He kills the king, chops off his head, and he says that, "Oh, remember you told me about whatever? Yeah, this is me." But in his throne, as he leaves the world, because he leaves the world with the army of Atlantis,
Right.
which is a lot. I mean, fucking 7 seas. You don't know how many shits are in. But Jalen leaves, and in his throne are two heads. There's Vandergriff, and then there's a stepdad. And you don't know. You don't know.
And
it's
the
his-
King of Atlantis.
yeah, three heads. You don't know it's Jalen's step until like the end of the second movie, or in the second movie because it shows Jalen going back home, killing him. So good, dude.
Yeah, that's when he flies up into the sky and creates a lightning storm just
Yeah.
around him.
It's so good. Oh, and I figured in book 2 when Antonio gets kidnapped, it'll be script. It'll be.
Oh, yeah,
it'll
okay,
be,
yeah, that
it'll
makes
be,
sense,
Yeah,
makes
it'll
sense.
be script as the robot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's even better because
Yeah.
Jalen figures it out. He's like, script, protocol failure, protocol, and then he tears the body up. Where is he?
yeah.
And Antonio just shoot him,
yeah.
sliding in. Shoo.
And that's the point where everyone goes, "Oh,
Oh my
shit!"
god! He's here because Antonio's been gone the whole
Yeah,
movie.
movie 2, book 2, Antonio,
Yeah.
and the only time you see Antonio is when he's chained up by Jalen.
Yeah, and they're like, want to know why Antonio's been missing? And then he snaps the door that Victoria is secretly in too, but we don't know it.
Right.
The wall turns around and Antonio chained up, his golden armor all fucking damaged, and he's like, he's right here, beneath beneath everything, shit. It's so good, man.
Yeah.
Because you as the reader, you're thinking, holy fuck, Antonio,
Yeah, dude.
the golden boy.
The one that would, yeah. He's fucking.
Like, what? And Jalen got this strong? Like, nah,
Yeah.
dude. Like, me and Darren, it's been months. Like, we don't even know where the fuck he's at. We're trying our
Yeah.
best to stay playing.
Yeah, book 2 and every part is so good.
It's so good.
Literally, the team is completely fractured. It's me and you trying to figure shit out.
Yeah, it's so good
And
because
then Jalen's like taking over the world.
yeah,
All galaxy.
and we just left the world. We're going every planet that Jalen went to, we go through and try to save it, but
Right.
it's just hard without Antonio.
Yeah.
And Antonio took it the worst when Jalen turned evil.
Of course he did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Of course he
And-
took it the worst.
Antonio. Oh my god, the burden that he carried with that shit.
Yes, exactly. He's carrying such a burden because it was his job to try and to lead the group, first of all.
And,
But then Jalen, since they were at a young age,
yeah,
he always took care of Jalen. Right?
dude, yeah, it's so good. You know that memory that Antonio had,
The flashback.
the flashback.
Yes, yeah.
So that comes back, but it goes through the perspective of Jalen.
I actually liked that scene.
It was good, right?
The scene describing how it's them learning to fly for the
Mhm.
first time.
And they're doing it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that memory.
And it was pretty much them explaining each other's burdens, right?
Mhm.
And it's like they're the opposite side of the same coin, right?
Yeah,
I'm invisible, and now I'm just like too like needed upon.
yeah.
And the parallels are good. there.
It's so good because it really is two sides.
Yeah, exactly.
You have one person with everything on their shoulders, while the other one is just looked upon.
Yeah.
No, dude, when Jalen, I wrote it down in my notebook at work. Jalen comes back, he brings up, oh, maybe I should put it in with time. Jalen brings up the same memory, but it's through his perspective. And, like, through his side, he's looking at Antonio like he's the villain.
Right. Exactly.
And then I ascended instead of him. And then I ascended. Yeah. And it's like, instead of saying, like, those words where it was like, oh, we're not enemies, we're not whatever. But like, we're not brothers, we're not family, not even equal. And I'll say something.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, you're beneath me.
Yeah,
I surpassed you.
I will be everything.
He's like, soon everything will be under
Exactly.
my shadow will
And the
make-
foreshadowing is
make
so
the
good.
whole galaxy black or some
It's
shit.
so good, dude. Donzo leaving breadcrumbs everywhere. That was something I didn't think was an idea, but fuck, it's good. It just shows that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense because you gotta have him involved.
Yeah.
For it to make sense.
I think we can limit it though, because the fucking ChatGPT keeps putting it.
So
Yeah, I'm like, dog. It's just he's supposed to be like a literally a full on side character.
I kind of like it. Donzo, like what he's been doing, like he's he's the advisor,
Yeah,
and so he's kind of guiding, and which would
All
make
of
sense
them.
for what he is, right?
yeah. But then at some points you catch him doing weird shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Chat GPT was like, "Yo, Darren should be the one who notices." That's why in like early chapters, you always ask me if he's all right, and I'm like, I don't know, motherfucker don't blink, motherfucker don't blink, don't drink. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, then you start leaving traps around, like all your fucking hide under a box.
You know, I like the roles, dude. You gave everyone a unique kind of the roles are very well defined and what their job is for the story.
The hardest one was figuring out your powers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm such a side character.
I was like, yeah, me and you are literally side characters. And I'm trying to.
We take a bigger role on in the second book.
Oh yeah, yeah, because it's more we have to step up.
It's kind of us just like carrying the story along on our end. Well, most of the book is about Jalen, though.
Yeah, it's all about Jalen. Even the chat knew it was about Jalen, dude.
Yeah.
The fucking chat. I was like, I asked the chat, like, yo, who's your favorite character? Oh, it's Jalen, hands down. Fucking Jalen, dude, has the best arc, the best everything.
Really does.
We just gotta add all the realistic.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely make changes to the script.
Yeah, dude. Let me tell you something.
You know, this is just helping us get an outline.
It's so good.
When it comes to the finer details, we're definitely gonna tweak those.
Yeah, and honestly, this is just like
like some of the jokes in there are a little iffy.
Yeah, but what can you do with the chat? You know, with
Right.
the AI.
You know, the comedy in there is gonna be a lot better, but also the subject matter is gonna be a little
They're all
because there's some things we just can't put in the chat.
Dude, Vandergriff, you were always different. Never fit in with the others. Now, never fit. Now, you're just an ant beneath my boot.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, man.
That was good.
Still playing the part of sidekicks, huh?
Yeah.
Just like in high school.
I like the Vandergrift character. That scene was displayed perfectly.
It was so good.
It
Yeah.
was done perfectly. Kind of always how we imagined it to be.
Yeah, I had to turn him into an electronical teacher.
Yeah, because he makes robots.
Yeah, him being a regular substitute.
An English teacher.
Yeah.
When it makes sense. He had to be like in robotics class or something.
Yeah. He used to fix vending machines. Fuck.
Yeah.
You look like a walking refrigerator. I was like, oh, that's a good one, chat. That was a good one. God, it's so good.
Yeah, and you enjoy the character, the AI.
Yeah.
The script.
You grow to love the guy. And like in the credits too, when they start making movies, it's literally gonna be script, chat GPT.
Chat GBT. Oh man, what a fucking story though! Truly, I can't wait for the rest of this to be done, so I could read more of this. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. I need you to get a pen and start writing shit on here so I can go back and do the rest.
A red
man.
pen.
Exactly. Boom, boom.
You have
boom,
another
boom.
copy of this?
Oh, dude, I have it on my computer.
Oh.
I'll put it on a flash drive and give it to you.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, dude.
We need to write in detail.
Yeah.
The big scene.
Let me ask chat, what do you think the next thing will be?
And the chat's got it memorized.
Yeah, it has all of it memorized. Oh, dude. This is...
Go stop the stream. I have a smoke. We'll talk more about it.